So there is a great disturbance in the force, and not in a good way, but in a bad way, in regards to PCP or benzycline use. The big problem that will be addressed in this video is why is there an increase in patients being rushed or citizens being rushed to ERs, and why people are not testing positive technically for anything when it comes to find out that it's either PCP or even K2. Another problem it causes is violence. So let's jump in to sometimes the correlation between K2 and PCP and what is typically seen if somebody is actively using one. Let's jump right on into the video. We'll have memes as well. Now, the answer to this question in regards to how can we decrease ER visits when it comes to PCP or K2 use, or even the amount of violence that comes with it. There's a lot of violence and aggression and violence that occurs on this, higher homicides as well as a result of people using PCP. Now, one of the most common traits of somebody actively using PCP or K2, but let's stick with the PCP, but it's the correlation there, is paranoia and anxiety. That is the first very important trait that can be displayed with it, but we're going to go through 4 of them. Paranoia and anxiety I put together because with paranoia comes anxiety, with anxiety comes paranoia. A lot more with that, with the anxiety, a lot more shaky thoughts that you're going to die. Things like this are common if you're actively using it. And this is what a lot of times results in things such as a bad trip. So this is why education is why I believe this is pretty much the answer to helping someone know about these 2 drugs, because that is the best way we will be able to help and reduce the amount of PCP and K2 use, is through education, but being real with them too. Not where it's like, oh, have a beer, have, like all that, dare stuff, like back in the day. Not hating on dare, not hating on it at all, but there's a better way they could have went about it. But really educating, even if it's not a kid. If they're a teen, you got to be able to sit down with them, look them in the eye, and tell them what's up. That's the reality. Number 2, emotional swings. And when I say emotional swings when it comes to PCP and K2, I'm talking extreme mood swings. And what I mean by even extreme mood swings, I mean 1 second you're feeling on top of the world, feeling everything's okay, and then a second later, just like that, you go crashing down and you feel like you're on fire. Literally, I've had someone say they literally thought they were on fire. Even just not even violence or aggression at this point, but paranoia kicking back in. So these mood swings are huge. That can be from the happiest person in the world and giving and caring even, to I want to hurt you. So that is number 2, the mood swings. Number 3, aggression. Aggression is huge as well, because I will tell you with the aggression, that is the number 1 reason why I think treating somebody who's actively on PCP, like even in the ERs or the inpatient psych setting, this is one of the most, to a staff worker, and I can attest to this, this is probably can be one of the most scary situations, is the aggression that comes with it, the violence that comes with it. If you give them eye contact, they'll think a lot of times they'll be paranoid, and they'll think you're after them, resulting in them attacking you. So with the aggression, I will tell you, if somebody's actively using, try not to give direct eye contact to them. Try not to, just because of the aggression aspect, if you know what it is. But just in general, if somebody, seems like they're using something or whatnot, eye contact, a lot of times I would say I would avoid, unless you personally know them. Now, number 4, the 4th thing with PCP and as well as K2, or even synthetic spice as you call it, is the urge to engage in violence. And you might go, what? No, that's never happened. I'm not saying it happens to you or it has or it's going to happen, but with these mood swings, with this aggression, with this paranoia, with this anxiety, it's kind of a summary. You have a higher chance of engaging in violence because a lot of times you think people are out to get you. This is huge. So just why I do this video again, and if you can, like and subscribe, leave a comment, check out my Patreon, which is going to be, I'm going to start uploading more stuff too. You can be a member there if you want. The link's in my bio. But let's get back to this real quick. And leave a comment if you'd like. The reason for this is the massive uptick in problem in regards to younger adults, teens, even children being rushed to the ER with these extreme psychotic or psychosis symptoms where they're having to be held down, their strength is 4 times what it typically would be, or even, once again, the violence, which, keep in mind, people who are using it aren't typically, a lot of times, you might not have a violent history with using drugs in general, but this could be the one thing that offsets it. Could be the PCP or K2. Biggest thing I will say to somebody, if you are actively using it, if you're actively using it, obviously education and learning why you shouldn't be using it. But one thing I will say is there's other people out there. The worst thing that could happen is somebody's driving on it, they get paranoid, something serious happens. I won't even name it, but you know what I'm talking about, something very serious, a wreck, somebody gets hit, etc., etc., etc. This is one reason why a lot of times too, I feel like, just in general, when you're looking throughout history at all these gang wars too, a lot of times drug use in regards to PCP is higher a lot of times in lower income areas because it's so cheap. It's a lot cheaper, and it can easily be dipped in a J, in a cigarette even. The embalming fluid of PCP and K2 is very cheap too, so it also makes it very accessible to somebody who's wanting to use K2 if they're on papers for smoking regular cannabis. K2 can be an option because, unfortunately, it doesn't show up on a drug test. So this is the kind of things you need to be really looking out for with this. I mean, because from what I've seen, even through treating patients, it's, for me personally, and I think other psych nurses can attest to this, somebody actively on it can be the scariest thing to see. Really can. From patients ripping their clothes off, running up and down the halls naked, to there being a mural painted in a psych hospital on the wall of a window, and I've talked about this before. Why on earth you would do that, I don't know, to an open window to sunlight, and having a patient think it's a legit window and going and flying at the window like they're leaving and just going straight up like this. Boom! Right to the ground. So that's why. It's just, the biggest thing is they're not only a threat to others, but they are a threat to themselves as well. So that is a video in regards to the importance of knowing why, if you are using, why you shouldn't be using PCP, and a great way to educate people in regards to the problems that have been arising a lot of times in these ER or in the inpatient psychiatric setting of there being an increase in psychosis, like to these hallucinogenics, which that's what these are, is hallucinogenics, K2, spice, angel dust, PCP, they're hallucinogenics. But more importantly, they're synthetic. They are not good for your body, things like this. So this is just things, if I were you, if you were using, or if, for example, you just want more information on this in regards to just knowing about it in general. If you have a friend going, hey man, it's okay to use, because let's say, once again, you're going to have a drug test, a weed test. Somebody's like, hey dude, you can use this and it won't pop up. This is why you'd want to think twice on this. So that is your daily dose of mental health. I wanted to throw this out here just because, once again, there needs to be more education and even studies done on this topic right here because of what it can potentially lead to, from the psychosis to the violence. Leave a comment if you've ever had an experience, or you know somebody, or you've seen this, and like and subscribe. I'll have another video coming out soon. I'll have another video dropping on my Patreon coming shortly to everyone. I love you all.